What up, Dokkaners? Welcome back to Tsunami for another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. Today we're tackling the Power Absorption Legendary Goku event category mission, and I gotta say, Power Absorption was relatively easy for me. So much so, in fact, that originally this video was going to be labeled No Item First Try. The only reason that it wasn't was because of the video that I posted yesterday, so make sure you go check out that video because it is hilarious and painful at the same time, and you need to watch it. It's only like 5 minutes. But for this category run, it was all about the Buu tanks. So if you have the LR Buu tanks, then I can tell you right now, folks, your issues are going to be far less cumbersome than other people. Double LR Buu tanks carries this event so hard, and you're going to be just fine. If you don't have the LR Buu tanks, you have to do a little bit of clever maneuvering, but you'll still be fine because this category, with the right units, has really robust health and regenerative capabilities, and that's the idea for this team. So the primary strategy that I used is to stack the defense and offense of the LR Buu tanks on each rotation, have any other units that you have accompany them. The more reliable tanks will be paired up with them. Maybe even the LR Int Perfect Cell. He's not imperfect, he is perfect. Every time I say LR and Cell, I'm thinking imperfect. And then the rest of the units keep out of harm's way. Or, if you don't have him, you would have to bring a full MAJIN power team. So let me talk about the team that I used here in this video. LR Buu tanks, LR Perfect Cell, Super 17, Tech Evil Buu, STR Transforming Super Buu, AGL Buu tanks. Now I'm going to go over each unit and why I brought them, and then I'll talk about alternate team builds. So we'll start with the last one, which is the AGL Buu tanks. AGL Buu tanks is the unit that got me killed on my previous run, my no item first try run. Yes, I know, but I believe that if I had gone back and done that whole round again, I would have still kept him there. Because he does so much more good than bad. You actually want to roll the dice with this guy on the final round, in my opinion. You may disagree, but he supports the Power Absorption category really well. Attack plus 30% for all Power Absorption allies. Defense plus 50%. That is ridiculous. On top of the fact that he has a medium chance to dodge any attacks. Obviously, it doesn't apply to the final round. And he recovers 15% HP at the end of the turn. And now that's one of the main things about this team that I found myself very surprised by. The amount of regeneration that takes place from the Metamorphosis link and all of these Buu perks allowed me to not really stress when my health fell below 50%, 40%. There were a few times where I thought I was going to die because I would not have enough health to come back or I'd have to waste an item. But these guys and their healing actually helped keep this run way more fluid than normal, where I didn't have to waste those items. I saved those items for the final round in order to protect that AGL Buu tanks from the final Super Saiyan 4 full power Goku. So he is really good. And he helps enhance the tankiness of your other Buu units, because some of the other Buu units have damage reduction themselves, but it's their base defense that's lacking. He helps shore up that weakness. STR Transforming Super Buu. Now, some of you may not agree with this one. I thought that he would be a good addition, and he was at times. What stinks, though, is after my failed run on the previous video, I tried a couple of different team builds, and in the process, I kept thinking that because of all the healing that I've got going on, I would probably be able to have the STR Buu transform into Buuhan, which is what I wanted. I wanted him to have his ability to recover 10% HP at the start of the turn, because we're not going to transform the LR Buu tanks. The LR Buu tanks has to stay at his Buu tanks form. You can't change him to Buuhan. He loses that stacky ability. So you would want to bring this STR transforming Buu and have him be the Buuhan, because that's even more healing, therefore lessening the need for items even more. But what ended up happening is, like, I think my other 4 runs that I did, every single time I was a turn away from having the transforming Buu actually transform, something stupid happened and I would always fall below 70%. And I was just in the middle where I couldn't get Buuhan or Piccolo. I got Buu tanks. And Buu tanks is the one transformation for the STR Buu that I didn't want, because he does not raise attack or defense temporarily in his super attack. He just seals. Buuhan raises attack and defense greatly for the turn, and Piccolo raises defense greatly for the turn. So either one of those would have been great. Honestly, Piccolo would have been even better because he recovers 15% HP at the start of the turn, and he gives defense plus 30% and all allies key plus 3 for the entire team. So honestly, guys, if you want to roll the dice a little bit and make the run a little bit more exciting, try adding the STR Transforming Super Buu. Depending on what you get, it could actually change the outlook of your team entirely, as long as you don't get Buu tanks. Buu tanks was annoying, man. Buu tanks, he didn't get me killed or anything, but it was just like, The one version I didn't want, of course I get that. He recovers HP the least. He only boosts himself. He gets stronger when the enemy's in attack down status, which isn't going to happen. So, yeah, of course they had to give me that middle finger. But he's still good. So if you guys can, you should try using it. Next, the Tech Evil Transforming Boo. This unit is one of the surprise MVPs of this run because he is way tankier than I gave him credit for. When he transforms all the way into Super Boo, which you're about to see, he can greatly raise attack and defense temporarily, but what's even better is that he can do so for 3 turns. So if he's on rotation, on the main rotation, before his drop-off starts to happen, you can actually stack one more time. So he can temporarily double stack, if that makes sense. So his stat line will be, in general, far higher than you would normally expect. And if you combine that with his damage reduction of 50%, he can tank even in the final stage, and he does. And what's funny is that with this team and units like him, I found myself struggling to get the Int Perfect Cell to transform. So we'll just jump in and talk about the Perfect Cell. Perfect Cell is here as an insurance policy. If you're about to die, you're below 30% HP, regardless of the turn, you will transform into Perfect Cell, you will get a full heal, and you will turn into a monster. And that monster is Perfect Cell, and he's really good. The entire video, all I wanted was for him to transform. It didn't happen. Everyone on the team was so tanky. Everyone on the team was so healy. And I got lucky to the point that it was annoying me. I wanted to take extra damage. I think, yeah, so I just put Int Cell in front because I was strongly considering taking a bunch of damage from the physical Super Saiyan 3 Goku because I wanted to heal. You're going to see the rest of the video. I just kept trying that, tried different things, couldn't do it. And if he did transform, he would have had that active skill where he destroys the planet. That would have been a great finisher for the finale against the tech unit. Couldn't do it. But he's still a good backup in case something goes terribly wrong. He can heal you. He's also just really good overall, stats-wise. He's really good for this. Plus, he's Int. If you bring an Int unit on the final stage, you're going to be in good shape. And I think, yeah, the Super Saiyan 3 Goku is the last physical unit. So while he is strong, he's not going to ruin your life if you bring an Int unit or 2 into the physical stage. So Int is generally what you want to be bringing for this event. So bringing that Int Perfect Cell works. He also works on alternate teams that you might make if you don't have the LR Boo tanks as your leader. And then rounding out the team, we've got the AGL Super 17. Now, just because the AGL doesn't mean anything, because he is a tank to end all tanks. He's so good. He greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, reduces damage received by 40%, but that reducing damage tanking ability goes up by 30%. So he can tank 70% of the damage that comes in after receiving certain attacks. So all it takes is early on getting hit a couple of times here and there, and boom, you're done. You've maximized your tanking. You also maximize your offense. If you get hit 5 times, you gain 30% attack each time. Your attack is maximized. So this guy from maybe round 2 or round 3 was in tip-top shape, and he was really good. He was able to hold his own against Tech Super Saiyan 4 without items. After he attacked once, he was able to hold his own against him, so he is very, very good. If you don't have him, you're going to be in trouble. I'm just going to tell you right now. You got to have this guy. You got to have him. He's an incredible tank. Even outside of this, just in general, you should bring him for long-form events. He's excellent. And then, of course, the LR Boo tanks. LR Boo tanks is a unit that stacks attack and defense, can attack multiple times, and picks up double the ki per key sphere that you pick up. You don't want to transform the guy. It's funny how both of the Worldwide Celebration units are so much better in their base forms and not transformed. It's pretty sad and funny. But you don't want to transform these LR Boo tanks because when they change into Buhan, it just kills the flow. And the idea, obviously, is to stack their defense. And if you get lucky, which you will a couple of times, you will get an added-on attack boost from the passive. And if you have your hidden potential, you would get another super attack occasionally if you got lucky. And since he's physical, like I mentioned before, he's got a base 5 additional, so the chances of you doing that are pretty good, because you're going to be running him a lot. One rotation will have Boo tanks and, let's say, Super 17. The other rotation will have Boo tanks and Tech Transforming Evil Boo. And that's what I did. That's all there is to it. I thought that me not having dupes would be a detriment. It absolutely wasn't. It honestly didn't even feel like that. I didn't even think about that, because he kept throwing out additionals. But I was getting pretty lucky, and I thought, you know what, I'm fine. So that's it for the main team. Now, obviously, if you don't have the LR Bootanks, you still have to run that unit as your friend, because you just have to. He's that good. So the only way to do that would be if your Majin Power and Power Absorption units intersect. Everybody on the team has to be Power Absorption. So you got to check your Dokkan game, and you have to make sure that both categories are lit up with a full match. And when you do, you can see that all of the units give you boos. And that's all you need. So if you were to bring Evil Transforming Boo as your leader, you could run South Kai Absorb Boo. He's an excellent defensive tank. The only issue with this guy is his health restriction makes him a tank. So if you're at 80% or above, he will reduce damage received by 20%. That's not a lot, but it's still better than nothing. So when you combine that with a defense boost for one turn, maybe twice if you have additionals, he can tank some attacks for you, but it's not going to be a lot. He is a little bit deceiving in that he's not the most prominent tank. He doesn't do a very good job. So if you have to use him, go ahead. He is a bit of a flight risk, so be careful. Transforming STR Super Boo, like I mentioned, you could bring him on the squad. The physical Hero Extermination event, Fat Boo, or Good Boo, he is actually kind of decent for this. He raises attack for one turn, causes supreme damage, greatly lowers defense. That part doesn't matter, but it's his passive. His attack and defense is 66%. It can go up to another 66%, so 132 each. And he recovers 30% HP whenever HP is 40% or less. That's the main thing about this unit that I think can have a lot of utility for people. So it's kind of like Piccolo, like I mentioned on my Battle of Wits video. Piccolo recovers 7% HP whenever the health is below 77%. That's a very underrated and very much appreciated ability. This guy basically does that in a more emergency type situation. The only thing though, I'm not sure if this directly conflicts with the Int LR Cell. You guys can let me know in the comments. The LR Perfect Cell, if you had LR Perfect Cell and this guy on the same turn, and your health is, let's say, at like 10%. No, let's say your health is at like 28%, right? So just below the cutoff, so that Cell could transform. Would the transformation for Cell take place first, or would this guy's healing take place first? I think Cell's transformation would take place first, but I could be wrong. So you might need to look that up, or let me know in the comments and let me know. But yeah, this guy will help with the healing. He also shares some good links. Int Buhan is a great alternative. He is a nuke, so he can gain a lot of attack and a lot of defense. He can also heal quite a bit per key sphere obtained. He is an EZA unit, so you have to make sure you EZA him. And if you kill a unit, you will gain 15% HP at the end of the turn. You're fighting 7 Gokus, so the chances of this guy killing one of the forms might be pretty high, especially if he does nuke. So he could be useful. Plus, he lowers attack and defense. That's a very useful ability at the start of the event, because the only time that you can lower Goku's attack and defense, well, defense you can lower throughout, but you can only lower his attack at the first round. You can't do it after that. So he's really good. And then, of course, AGL Bootanks. I'm telling you guys, I know he's scary. I know he might be a big risk. It's worth it, man. He's just so good. He's so good. He dodged so many attacks on other runs that I had on this event that I really had to go back and check his passive to see if it was a medium chance or a high chance or a great chance. He just kept dodging. I know it's RNG and I know it's luck, but there's too much that he does for the team to not consider bringing him. You don't have to, you know, because obviously it's your choice. But that's the alternate option for not having LR Bootanks. Of course, when you bring the LR Bootanks as your leader, your main rotations will likely consist of LR Bootanks plus STR Transforming Boo, depending on how he changes, Evil Transforming Boo, and Bootanks, or Buhan, the Int EZA Buhan can be your other rotation. And then everybody else can just shuffle around. Hopefully that helps you with that team build if you don't have the Worldwide Celebration Bootanks. The last option, this is probably a joke option. I doubt anybody could beat it with this. If you want to try this and be ridiculous, go ahead. I went ahead and made another team. If you don't want to use Boos whatsoever, you don't want to use LR Bootanks whatsoever, you could do a Target Goku team. It would be Android 13 as your leader. So he's AGL. Yeah, you're not gonna win with this. I don't think you're winning with this one. If you win with this, let me know. Post a screenshot in my Discord or something. I would love to see, or a video. I would love to see how you did it. But you could get 13 in there. You can get Super 17. You can get Int Android 13, the EZA, Int Perfect Cell. I mean, you know what? Honestly, Int Perfect Cell might actually be a lot more useful here. And then you've got the LR Imperfect Cell, the Prime Battle one, and the STR Freaky 21. I have her at her unawakened form, but the TUR version of Freaky 21 does heal, does nerf, so actually, you know what, maybe there's a chance. Maybe after all of these category missions are done, I'll try some of these dumber teams and see what I can do. Alright, so we're going to skip ahead to the final stage because this actually takes a little while, and I don't want to keep rambling about nothingness for the entirety of the video. So we are at the final stage now, and we've got the transformation that took place. We have Bootanks for the STR unit, which was so annoying to me, but he still helps because he's able to give us some health back. But like I mentioned before, my sole objective was to turn Int Cell into final form Perfect Cell. Did not happen, which means these guys did their jobs. Tech transforming Boo right here, stacked once. Look at how much damage he just took. He greatly raised his attack and defense once, 50% damage reduction, and he took 7,000/5,000. Look at how much health we have back. At this point, I think I just said, you know what, forget it, I give up. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. If anything, let's pray that the Bootanks at the end can take us some extra damage. But then I was like, you know what, actually, if he gets supered, I might be in trouble. So here, I'm at turn 25. I've got no more items left. I've got Aider being used for 2 turns, so defense boosting for 2 turns. After that, I'm running solo. I think if I was a little bit less distracted by Cell, I think this would have been a much smarter run in terms of my item usage. But, you know, things happen. You know, you're trying to orchestrate certain things, trying to manipulate the situation to happen in your favor, where you can get a certain unit to do what he wants, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. But at this point, I was so brave and so nonchalant about this because, again, it has severe no item potential. The tankiness, the regeneration, there's so much going for this team that you can afford to be a little lax here and there, just as long as you can find a good Bootanks friend unit. I think for one of my runs, I ran a 1% Bootanks. Unfortunately, I didn't win, so I couldn't show that in the video. But I'm pretty sure one of my runs, I tried a 1% LR Bootanks because somebody just didn't have the orbs. So yeah, it still worked out pretty well because I got to the final stage and then I died. But as you can see right here, look at this. We're putting AGL Bootanks in the middle with the only added bonus of having the Aider's 50% defense boost. So Bootanks is about to take a beating. If we got hit with another super here, that would have been really, really sad. Fortunately, it didn't, because if it was a super, this video wouldn't exist. But, you know, maybe my computer wouldn't even exist. I would have punched a hole through it. Taking 91 damage, double digits from the LR Bootanks, because that's what he does. He's really good. Look at that, 1.9 million attack. 1.9 million. That's a lot of stacking. That's a lot. And what did we take? We took like 37,000. So that's pretty good. You combine Bootanks with the appropriate rotations and items, he's fine. And we're on the final stretch. I was so surprised that I could not get Int Cell that I thought, wow, what would have happened if I actually didn't use items and just let my guys take a beating? How far back would I have actually lost? That's what I asked myself during this. I didn't say it, obviously, because I was just recording it. Is this the move that kills him? Oh, no, it doesn't. Actually, wait, did we kill him this turn? It might be the Cell that kills him. I don't remember. We took 200k. All right. So we just took 200k on a super, which was a little surprising to see. And with that, oh, see how great would it have been? It would have been a nice photo finish to end the fight with a perfect Cell active skill. But no, of course not. And that's how we win. Evil Boo gets the win. So there you have it, folks. Power Absorption. Pretty decent category. Pretty good, no item potential. Try it out. If you don't have LR Bootanks, make sure the friend unit is the Bootanks, but your Evil Boo will do just fine as your leader. I'm telling you. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below and let me know in the comments your thoughts on the category. Your run, what team did you use? Who was your MVP? And did you get killed by the AGL boot tanks on your first try? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more Dokkan content in the future, and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know you want to see more of my stuff. Do it! Thanks again, stay tuned, and always remember to absorb power responsibly. Get it? Okay, bye.